Good evening, everyone. It's May 31st, last day of May. I have no comic book haul today, but I had a question. Something I've been thinking about. What is the limit to collecting? And, where do you draw the line? Is it only high quality books that you're after, or low quality, low grade's better than no grade? Or do you just have to have it sometimes? I mean, I think it all depends on the book, honestly. It all really depends on the book. But the point I'm ultimately getting to is, okay, think about your holy grail, the book you want more than any other to collect. What condition does it have to be in? Do you need it to be complete, cover all the pages? Let's just forget the grade scale. Let's just say it's all there, cover all the pages, or do you settle for, incomplete books, missing centerfold, missing cover, or at the extremist end, the only thing you have is a page or two that's been graded, a page out of the book. I have a chance to grab a book I really, really, really want. The only catch is that it's a page or two. That's it. Now it's been graded by CGC, so I know it's authenticated, and then it's an actual page from the book. But I just don't know I don't know, because sometimes I don't even know what my condition to buy a book is, I think that I want the cover, but at the same time, I want the book. But will I be happy with a book that is, 5% of a book? So I just don't know. I know I'm posting this video to ask the question to please give me some feedback. What do you guys think? Comment below. Do you need to have the cover of a book completed? Cover inside all the pages. Do you need it in high condition, low condition? Or if it was your holy grail, would you be perfectly fine if it was coverless? And if it was your holy grail, would you be okay if it was just 2 or 3 pages at most? If you have the chance to grab a book that you may never get, I mean, nothing in life is certain except death and taxes. That quote by Benjamin Franklin, I can contribute to him at least. Nothing in life is certain but death and taxes. So we might want that holy grail beyond anything else, but nothing says we will ever get it. But if you had the chance to get it, does the chance to get it outweigh everything else? I mean, I see I at least have one person watching, and I appreciate it. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm talking to myself at the moment here, but what do you guys think? Like I said, comment below if you comment below, or comment in the live stream if you're watching right now. What do you think? I mean, I have a couple of cover. I mean, when I bought my first Golden Age book, I wanted it to have a cover. My Action Comics 124, I wanted the cover. I was not willing to negotiate on that. I wanted a cover for a Golden Age book. Now, did the cover have to be attached? No. The cover did not have to be attached. I was willing to say that. That was my thing. I had to have a cover, but it didn't need to be attached. And I'm pretty sure my cover isn't attached, but it's hard to tell with the tape on the inside. But the chance to have my ultimate holy grail, I don't know. I mean, it's only a piece of it, but it's an expensive book. I don't know, honestly. I honestly don't know. I mean, part of me says, you gotta decide quickly, one way or the other, if it's worth it or not, because if you don't decide quickly, it could be gone just like that by someone who decides it's worth it to have even a piece of it. Because there's a page on YouTube, on Facebook, the comic book collectors, and the guy was showing off his room. You know, he had one of those spinning racks, and he had Captain America books, at least the ones I could see. Had a couple of them, and then up at the top rack holder thing, it had a Captain America. I believe it was his head was number one. And the only reason I know this, because I specifically asked about it, because it looked like a coverless book. But when I asked him about it, he said it was a page from the book of Captain America number one. It was a page of it, just a single page. You know, and so I was like, okay, that's really cool. So I know to some people it's worth it. So it's just a question of what is it worth, honestly, you know what I mean? I don't know sometimes. I mean, you got to be careful with word choices, but I almost am convinced sometimes that passions and desires are hard to control, and that comic book collecting can be just as much of a, for lack of a better word, addiction. Because addiction, I think by definition, is something that you just have to have, you know? And if you think you have to have something, you know, because the desire is there, it almost can create a synthetic version, in my opinion. I mean, I could very be wrong, and anyone who suffers from a real addiction, I apologize if I've insulted you. Not meaning to by any means. I'm just talking aloud and debating to myself here. But sometimes I wonder, the chance to own a piece of my holy grail. That would just be amazing to have it. Just to have it. Yep. Anyway, that's basically all I had. So unless I get somebody here popping up in the next 5 seconds to talk to, I think I'm going to wrap it up pretty soon, because that's about basically what I've had to talk. I've said my piece. Let me get rid of that. Anyway, yeah, nothing really to think of. Except, like I said, I'm trying to collect a Amazing Spider-Man run. That's my ultimate goal in collecting comics. And so I've gotten a lot of very low grade books, just because they are valuable books, and the expression arm and a leg comes to mind for even high low grades, medium grades. Forget about high grades. If I want a high, a couple of great books, I'd have to rob Fort Knox. So I've settled for lower grades. Well, not really settled, but I've gone with lower grades, and I've actually grown to love them. Might sound a little weird. Lower grade books, I think, have more character to them. I mean, it's like an art painting done professional, like Leonardo da Vinci or something. A painting by a master is brilliant and beautiful, but it's at such a high level that I can't reach. But yeah, I see a painting done by my son, and it's far from perfect. Sometimes it's far from pretty, but not pretty. I mean, not that wrong word choice. It's far from, I don't know, finished in a way, but it's still good. The character is there, and when you pour your heart and soul into something, it doesn't matter if you're not Leonardo da Vinci. It's great. My son when he does paint or does draw, he does great work because he gives his all. That's all that matters. But the character is there. So these lower grade books have more character to me, and I like them for it. Again, I think it all boils down to what the thing is. So since I actually have a, on average mid to lower grade on the run I want, it almost fits to have that kind of piece of the Holy Grail. I don't know. I have a few days to decide, hopefully, before the decision is taken out of my hands. But anyway, so ultimately the question is, the chance to own a piece of your Holy Grail, do you settle for the bare minimum? Or do you hold out possibly in vain to reach a bar that you might not be able to reach? I mean, you can do anything. I've always said that. I believe nothing's impossible. I think it's only a matter of time before I can get that Holy Grail that I want and the grade that I want. But until then, it would be really nice to mark it off the list. Anyway, I'm leaning more and more towards getting it just to say I have it, just because I can say I have it. in some way, I can beat out several people who are gunning for the same thing. Hey, D-Runk Comics, how's it going? I really like your style of your CGC on grading. It's very interesting. I always like the blind unveiling approach. It gives a more authentic reaction, I think, than just here it is. But yeah, that's just this whole video is just about, you have a chance to get your Holy Grail. Do you hold out for? Yeah, I noticed that your wife helps you out. You mentioned it off screen. My brother helps me out with mine. He puts I don't use the tape, but I have little sticky notes over it. But anyway, the chance to own your Holy Grail. Do you hold out for complete cover with all the pages at a certain grade, even if it's very, 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 very expensive book? God, I have to sell my house at least a couple of times sometimes, to even dream of affording it. Sometimes I have to sell my house to afford it. Or do you settle for what you can get? I don't know. Sometimes life is complicated, and money's even more complicated. And I'm probably diving into a deep philosophical realm of comics that some people just don't want to be a part of. But my mind works like that sometimes. I work at I build wood furniture as part of my job for 8 hours a day. And So for 8 hours, you got to keep yourself occupied somehow. I listen to music, and I think, and I think, and I think, and I debate and argue points with myself. Both sides of the argument, and that's why I'm so good at arguing. My brother hates it when I hates debating me. Well, if you think as much as I do to yourself and argue from both sides of the fight, you can get pretty good at it. But you said that I say that depends on the book, and the best to say anything your means. Yeah. Well, like I said, it is the theoretical question is your holy grail. The book to top all books. So if you were, I don't know, if you were trying to think of something off the top of my head here. I don't know, if you were a Punisher fan, if you're a Punisher fan, your holy grail would have been the very first appearance in Spider-Man. My holy grail, I have two of them. Amazing Spider-Man 1 and Amazing Fantasy 15. Because I'm trying to collect Amazing Spider-Man run. And so my holy grails are those two books, looks like the most expensive ones. Where if you got a coverless book and it's still $5,000. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. It's one of those things where you just got to decide. So one of my problems is I overthink things. I can either overthink things so much that people, it's like, why the hell don't you just make a decision? Or I can make a snap decision like that, faster than Thanos can wipe away half the population. But yeah, it's just one of those questions. So I appreciate you, D-Runk, for talking to me. Always nice having somebody in the live chats. So, and I think this is the first time you've been in my live chat. So thank you very much and welcome. And I do like your videos. When I catch them now and then, and your intro always brings us a chuckle to every time I watch it. All that. Oh, come on. Surely there's a few people in the population that we wouldn't miss. Think of how many comics that would free up. All suddenly there's a whole bunch of surplus. The prices drop. It's a win-win. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I'm very amateur. Only thing I've done myself. So anyway, oh yeah, sure. Since I always spare the people who join my chats, so you're good. There's probably 15, 20 people total that I've talked to that I can recall. So yeah, we'll have a beer afterwards and toast to our survival. All right, anyway. The video is approaching 20 minutes now, and this is actually longer than I thought it would be. I originally just logged on to pose a question, and I ended up delving into a few things I didn't think about. Ugh, I picked on something on my face, and now I'm just self-conscious as hell about it. Well, that's it for tonight. Enough philosophical, heavy material. I'll see you guys next time for more lighthearted, comic book haul video. So, till next time, D-Rung, thank you for stopping by. Nice talking to you. And everyone else, have a good night and happy collecting and good luck on your holy grail, whatever it is and whatever shape you're after. Ciao.